Little Mouse has the white man's sickness, and I must take her to the white medicine man, McGillicuddy. She said to me not to go to the fort. It is better she is dead than Crazy Horse. I thought again of the string of beads in my vision. There were bright beads and dull beads and plump beads and shriveled beads. There were beads that glowed with life and dark beads that ate the light. When we first gathered at Fort Laramie, it was good. Every year since the peace paper, we would rendezvous in the spring. There was much trading and dancing and meeting with old friends. But this year it was near summer's end, and each day the old ones looked to the east, waiting for the agent of the Washington Father. Every day it was asked, "Will he come today?" And no one seemed to know. Winter comes soon, and all the tribes will starve if the peace paper lies. Lone Bear, Little Mouse, my good friends, and me, the one that is known as Curly, were hiding in the grass, watching a Mormon on the trail beating an old cow with bleeding feet. The Mormon chased after the cow until he saw the great Indian camp. The cow spooked, flipped its tail, and ran into the Brule camp. It ran, kicking its back legs up, scattering travois and parflex, knocking down one lodge, then got stuck with its horns in the skins of another. Straight foretop, a mini Kanju waved and shouted to the Mormon to come and get his cow. But the man left the cow to pay for the trouble. It was of little value because it was old and dry and had bleeding feet. Straight foretop killed the cow, and we ate it. The Mormon ran to the fort and told the soldier chief the Indians took his cow and chased him away. The soldier chief asked the Mormon what he wanted the army to do. The Mormon said he wanted his cow back, and the man who took it punished. The next morning started with the red dawn, a very bad sign. The soldier chief of the fort, called Grattan, left the fort with 30 soldiers and 2 wagon guns. There was a small village and trading post nearby owned by a Frenchman called Bat. He was little, squat, and hairy, with a Brule wife, and a friend of the Sioux for more years that the fort had stood. That morning, Bat talked with the soldier chief and offered the Mormon $10 for the cow of his own money to avoid trouble. But the Mormon wanted more, and Bat said that's all he would pay for any cow. Bat smelled trouble and would not come with him, nor would the Mormon. Grattan left Bat and came to the camp with Wayus, demanding the cow killer. Conquering Bear, Man Afraid, Big Partisan, and the brother of Conquering Bear, wrapped in council blankets, met Grattan and offered the council pipe. Grattan said no. Little Mouse pushed through the people and stood behind Conquering Bear. She was always in the middle of everything. Wayus was the American to Indian speaker. He was always drunk and lied, but the soldier chief would use no other. When Waius talked to the council, he made signs of throwing green buffalo chips in their face. He said Grattan was a strong enemy of the Sioux, and he would bring them down, cut their hearts out, and eat them. Conquering Bear and Man Afraid went back and forth between the soldier chief and Straight Foretop, trying to get Straight Foretop to surrender, or the soldier chief to wait until the agents of the Father came to say what should be done. Straight Foretop would not go with the soldiers over the killing of an old cow. Conquering Bear then offered a good mule and sent the camp crier to get more from the tribes. Grattan wanted to put Straight Foretop in the iron house and demanded that Conquering Bear make the Miniconju come with him. Conquering Bear could not make him do that because Straight Foretop was a guest. And the crier returned with 5 sticks, meaning 5 good horses, and placed them on the ground before the soldier chief, even though the cow was worth nothing. Each time Conquering Bear said, "Wait, wait," and asked to sit and smoke and settle the trouble, Waius changed the words, and Grattan showed more anger in the face. The last thing said by Waius caused Grattan to roar in defiance, his freckled face glowing red. Waius turned away, and the soldier chief pulled his long knife and shouted, and the soldiers fired at Conquering Bear and the others, and the brother of Conquering Bear fell dead, and his blood splashed Little Mouse. Grattan again called out, and the wagon guns roared, and Conquering Bear fell, wounded. I jumped on my pony and rode through clouds of foul-smelling black smoke and fire and whirring cannonballs to lift up Little Mouse. Straight Foretop fired, and Grattan fell. Spotted Tail whooped, and 100 warriors shot a flood of arrows into the soldiers at the wagon guns. With lances and war clubs, they charged like a buffalo herd, trampling the soldiers into the ground, grabbing their guns and swinging them like clubs on the rest. More warriors than you could count came from every direction, waving lances, clubs, and axes. Little Mouse and I, we saw a few soldiers. They tried to stand and fight, but they were soon dead. At the sound of the first shot, Waius, gasping in fear, turned his horse and spurred toward the fort. Brules were hard after him. Oglalas swept from the right. His horse stumbled and fell, pinning his leg. Jerking his trap leg free from the squirming mass of horse flesh, he scrambled, limping, stumbling, and crawling to escape. 3 Brule warriors pulled him up, bawling and kicking. The brother of Waius's own wife struck him with his war club, tore off his clothes, cut a long gash on each leg from ankle to waist, and left him screaming in pain. One by one, each of the warriors strode up and cursed his name as they pierced him with a lance, slashed him with a knife, or smashed him with their clubs. After they left, Little Mouse and I sneaked up, feeling strange and sick. We stood over Waius, blood already clotting like dark red pitch. His eyes stuck out like they never fit in his head. My blood rose as I looked down on him. For a moment, I was a warrior. I raised my fists and cried to the sky. It was good to kill the enemies of my people, but he was already dead. Little Mouse pulled me away to race to Bat's trading post. There were Americans at Bat's post. They could no longer be seen. The young Brules, their bodies shining with sweat and streaked with paint and blood as they went from house to house. Bat ran alongside, wringing his hands, pleading, "They have done nothing, these Americans." "They are the enemy," the nephew of Conquering Bear shouted as he plunged the long knife taken from a dead soldier into bedrolls. The young warriors racing about and shouting to go back and raid the fort and kill everyone and take the goods for our annuities. More and more said yes to that as they thought of the long winter without supplies. When Bat heard them, he ran about shouting, "No, no!" If you attack the fort, then next year the father of all soldier chiefs will send more bluecoats than all the pebbles in the creek, and they will hunt you and kill all the warriors and all your women and children, and the Sioux will be no more." The warriors were angry at what Bat said, but the warriors wanted the stores of the Hudson Bay Company that stood without guard every year for more than the life of a man, because they had always honored every agreement with the Indian. All the chiefs were against such a thing. It would be a great dishonor. Red Leaf spoke against it, as did Spotted Tail and Hump. Red Leaf pulled off his blanket, showing the scars of many sun dances on his breast, and said, "I am a Lakota warrior like you, and the brother of Conquering Bear. Do not touch these goods. Trouble enough has been brought upon the people. Leave here in peace and go to the hunting grounds. Go fast and make plenty of meat and robes for winter." These were good words. I was there to hear him say them. Many called out, "Hoy!" But the war blood was still in the hearts of the warriors, and they pushed past Red Leaf. The leaders crowded into the storeroom and handed out the goods. Little Mouse and I were among them. Everything was taken and the storehouses stood empty. We later found that whiskey was stored under the floorboards, but no one knew it then. Hump and Swift Bear, the brother of Bat's wife, now spoke for Bat and harangued the wild young men. They listened because Swift Bear was as strong among the Brule as Hump was among the Oglala and Miniconjou. They went away like dogs caught at their meat racks, looking back over their shoulders, wanting more but afraid of a beating. Once the trouble started, the great camp dissolved like sugar in a rainstorm. Conquering Bear did not die. He sent my father to lead us north. There was now a great river of men, women, children, dogs, horses, and travois moving north under a cloud of dust, stretching over many miles. The Oglalas, the Brules, and Miniconjou went together. Hump, Man Afraid, other chiefs, and Ice, the holy man, made a covered sling for Conquering Bear and carried him gently on their shoulders, walking fast enough to keep ahead of the people with horses and travois. Even in rainstorms, they put up his lodge each night. Little Mouse and I tried to look, but only Ice, the medicine man, and great warriors could see him. Conquering Bear wanted to get the people far from the fort, for the soldiers would certainly come against us. We traveled all night, and the next day, we made camp on the second night. That night, we were all tired but could not sleep. The warriors talked war around the fire. A young Miniconjou of great war honor stood and said, "These are strangers in our land. Our land is the Smoky Hill in the south and the Bear Paw in the north, the Black Hills in the east and the Snake in the west. We are the Sioux and have taken this land from the Crow, the Shoshone, and the Paiute, and the Pawnee, and now it is ours. The Americans are as thistles, and the Sioux as the north wind. If they so much as prick our toe, we will puff a small puff and blow them away forever. It is time to sharpen the knives and axes of war and drive these Americans from our hunting grounds forever." Lightning flashed and crashed, and the night sky rumbled as if to say, "Hoy! Hoy!" honoring what the Miniconjou said. And Pretty One, who was sitting upright so as not to get his white buckskin shirt dirty, said, "There is no longer any horse taking and no warpath. It is against the peace paper signed at the big council. Just peaceful living, smoking, and and drinking coffee around the fort with the American. Hear Pretty One's words, they laughed. We just killed soldiers while you walked in beaded buckskin by the women's camp at the fort. You were not at the fight. It would dirty your shirt. Little Mouse joined our circle and said, You are just talking big. You can no longer do these things. So the talk went past Pretty One, as it always did. Pretty One was learning the language of the Americans and spent much time at the fort. He could fight well if he wanted. 5 days ago, Lone Bear and I tripped him and smeared him with cow dung. He struck back quick and strong and took my war club from me and threw it in the river. I searched the river bottom all day and could not find it. It had been made for me by Hump 2 years ago, and Little Mouse had adorned the handle with copper buttons last winter. After many days, we reached the running water country. It was a good fall. There were bushes of choke cherries, currants, and plum. Rabbit, quail, duck, and prairie chickens were easy to catch. We set up camp to stay for the winter. In the winter camp one afternoon, Lone Bear, Little Mouse, and I stooped down and looked under the lodge skin and saw that Conquering Bear had become a skull with yellow skin still on and eye holes deep and empty. It was a sacred thing and made me run to my pony to get away by myself. I looked for a high point where I hobbled my pony so he could graze and water himself, then stripped down to my breechcloth and stretched out and looked at the deep blue of the sky. I thought of things that had happened in the last days, seasons, and summers. I thought and began to see that all things were strung together like beads of a necklace, one after another. From this day back and this day forward, they went on forever. The hunt and the wounding of Conquering Bear, the warpath, the teaching by Hump and my father. I thought of other beads, the songs of my mother as we laughed together when I was a child. The songs I sang to Little Mouse as I brushed away the mosquitoes and gnats from her face as she lay in her cradle board. I saw the face of Little Mouse as she is now, with her long eyelashes over her smiling, soft, brown eyes. All through that day and into the night I stayed awake, putting sharp stones between my toes and piles of pebbles under my back to keep me awake. I waited for a vision that should come to understand all things. For 2 days and nights I stayed awake, my tongue big with thirst, my eyes burning. I shivered in the night. I tried to sing but could not. When the 3rd day dawned, I tried to lift my mind to another land as I had heard others tell happened to them in their visions. But I became dizzy and could not think. I decided it was enough. I lay my head back, eyes closed, rubbing my scalp side to side on the bark just for the feeling of it. The sounds of chirping katydids and the thrum of a grasshopper made me realize that I had heard no such sounds the last 3 days, nor had any insect, bird or squirrel entered or passed by. I breathed deeply, pulling in the smell of distant rain and lightning. I heard the wind sing to the swaying high branches of the cottonwood as they dipped and flowed as a dance between the tree and the wind. It was as if I had returned to Mother Earth from another world, and she wanted to hold me to her bosom and whisper in my ear. The broad, jagged edge leaves rustled. A few of the very high ones had turned red and orange and rattled, but most were still green, dark on the top and silver green on the underside. The breath of my body flowed as ghost into the trunk of the tree, and I fell asleep. Suddenly a monster of the dark attacked me from nowhere. Great jaws closed on my shoulder, and it shook me as a dog worries a tough piece of meat. An angry voice roared, "Where have you been? Why didn't you tell us you were going?" It was my father, shaking me. Ice stood near. It was near dark, and they were angry. They said that this is not the time to be off alone with Crow and Pawnee raiding parties near, and perhaps even soldiers coming. Everyone worried over the dying chief and no one knowing where I had gone. I told them that I had come to fast for a vision, and they were angrier than before. Ice said I could not fast for a vision without preparation and guidance from a wise one. Without